Dear listeners, on today's program we have with us two very special individuals who are raising awareness for the Insurance Foundation for Servicemen. And these two representatives of the Insurance Foundation of Armenia are visiting the U.S. cities to inform the community leaders on what the foundation does for servicemen who have lost their lives or limbs, or it's become a bit of a burden on the families. And of course our hearts are with all of those. And I am going to introduce to you Narine Galstyan, and she is the head of public relations and fundraising at IFS, and Sona Bagdasaryan, who was the fundraising and donor relations manager of the same. And we welcome you ladies to the Armenian radio program.
Hello. Good afternoon, Vaughn. Thank you for having us today.
Oh, it's our pleasure, and I thank Captain Jack for facilitating this. If it wasn't for Diana and Jack and their being so active and making sure that we catch these type of things when they come to our community for the radio program, we really appreciate everything that Hagop and Diana do for our community and also for this program. So, in the Takayan Foundation, thank you very much. We're just going to use the acronym IFS to make it easier. Okay, tell us a little bit about this outreach initiative. And it looks like you're looking for long-term relationships in the Armenian diaspora to create some type of a framework and initiative to, help those who have been affected by the war. So fill us in a little bit about that.
Sure. Again, thank you for having us here. The idea of the outreach program was born recently because, as you know, the situation changed drastically after the war. We were created in 2017, before the war. We are a congressionally chartered nonprofit, and we provide monetary compensation to families of fallen heroes, servicemen who are missing in action or who have severe disability. And we were created in 2017 as a private nonprofit, and we are governed and financed as a private nonprofit. And before the war 2020, we had about 417 cases. Mm-hmm. As a result of the recent war, as of today, we have 4,582 cases. So our liabilities have grown tenfold, and we provide lump sum compensations, also monthly compensations for 20-year periods. So it acts like a life insurance fund, and our liabilities are long-term. And after the war, naturally, we decided that we need to do more outreach and awareness, because both in Armenia and the diaspora, a lot of people are not aware of what we do. Unfortunately, the war changed the situation now. Every family in Armenia and even in diaspora has somehow been affected by the war. They have children serving on the borderline. Some of them unfortunately have losses. Some know people who have servicemen on the front line. So the situation changed, and we decided to embark on this diaspora outreach initiative. So we started in around May with Zoom calls and live panels, interviews and phone calls, and the idea came from the diaspora actually that we should come and meet these people in person here in the American communities and possibly create these relationships that will last for a long time, because it's very important to meet communities in their comfort zone, in their church, in their cultural center, in their school, talk to them, present what we do and how we think the diaspora can be more engaged by spreading the word about us and by telling the story of IFS and the servicemen that defend our homeland.
So basically the foundation was created for the purpose of ensuring and providing compensation to the soldiers and their families who have been injured defending the borders of the two motherlands, as they say. And is there a degree of compensation that is established for how much a family might receive and what have you?
Yes, absolutely. Our beneficiaries are not only those severely injured, but also those who fell during active combat while protecting the borders of our homeland, and those who are missing. So anyone who fell, is missing, or has first or second degree disability category is our beneficiary, and we do not have any criteria for selecting if a person becomes or another family doesn't become a beneficiary of IFS. Everyone in this category is. As Sona said, we provide monetary compensations to these families. We give them to fallen, missing, and first category disabled soldiers, we give a lump sum upfront payment equal to 10 million Armenian drams, totaling $20,000, and then for 20 years, every month, we give them from 400 to 800 $800, depending on the military rank the person had and how many minors are in the family. So in case there are 3+ minors, we give them additional $200 monthly. In case of second degree disability category, the serviceman receives 5 million Armenian drams, which is equal to $10,000, and then again for 20-year period, every month we give the servicemen
$400
from 200 to 600, again depending on the military category and the number of minors in the family. This is very much like a life insurance model that IFS has, so we make sure that if a person, a breadwinner of the family, is no longer able to provide or earn money, then we as a nation should take care of the family and make sure that they live a more comfortable life.
I see. So basically, every month, if first degree, they're about $400 to $600 for 20 years.
Yeah.
And does that go to the family and maybe their children, obviously, for 20 years? So it would help them maybe with their schooling and support all the immediate needs of what's needed for the family. And then the second degree disability is also $200 to $400 for 20 years, but there's a $20,000 one-time payment,
lump sum payment, yes.
Lump sum payment, and also a $10,000 lump sum payment. When we say $10,000 in American, okay, I mean you're translating that into drums, correct?
Yes, 5 million drums and then 10 million drums.
Okay, that's very generous, I think, for. I mean, too bad it can't even be more, but... Yeah. And is this ongoing? How many people has the IFS program, how many people has it helped so far?
To date, we have 4,582 beneficiaries. I mean, so many people have already received the lump sum payment of 5 million Armenian drams or 10 million Armenian drams, and on monthly basis, they have their payments. They are already have become our beneficiaries, and we pay them on monthly basis from now on.
Give me that number. Wait a minute. Give me that number again.
4,582. This is the whole number of beneficiaries that IFS has. But as a result of this war, we have 4,165 cases. So prior to war, we had only 417 cases.
And prior to war...
That was 13 years, between 2008 and 2020. So for 13 years, we had only 417 cases. As of today, between September 2020 and now, we have an additional 4,165 cases.
Well, I got to ask you something. Why is it taking so long for us to have heard about this organization? I mean, this is very important to those in need over there, and we've been sending millions of dollars from the diaspora, and sometimes we don't know where it goes, but that's another program.
That's actually the point of this trip, is that to show the work that we have been doing, because we've paid over $107 million in compensation.
Wow.
That's a large number even for the United States, and it's a huge number for Armenians and Armenian families. You have never heard about it because before the war we were very well capitalized. We were run by a small team of volunteers, and we did not need to raise awareness. We had only raised about $1 million in $1 million in fundraising, and most of that wasn't even from the diaspora, because it was a small project that started in Armenia, but we, without being modest, we call ourselves a national success story. Why? Because this is a project that started in Armenia and is financed by the Armenian people in Armenia, Artsakh, and abroad. So it's not financed by government. It's not run or supervised by government. We're not financed by international financial institutions. We as Armenians, we as a nation decided this is a cause that we want to come together, no matter what church we go to or what political party we belong to. This is something that we need to do. This is our pledge to these guys and their families. We need to make sure they are taken care of financially. We cannot compensate the loss of an 18-year-old son, but we can make sure these families have a dignified future and they feel appreciated by Armenians everywhere. So we have a congressional charter, as I said, which allows us to collect mandatory contributions from all Armenians in working and paying taxes in Armenia and Artsakh. And most of our funds have been raised through mandatory contributions. We have raised over $107 million through mandatory contributions, about $22 million through fundraising, which has started during the war and is ongoing. And before the war, we also had a lot of assets, so we managed them smartly, and we made a revenue of about $1.5 million on the assets for the first 3 years. So as you said, this is a project that was born locally, but has grown to very large sizes, and it affects a very large number of families in Armenia, because 4,582 are names of the servicemen, unfortunately fallen or missing or severely hurt. But their families are larger, so this affects 15,000, 20,000 people. And we think this is a project of national importance. Why? Because these people stay in Armenia.
Right.
They feel appreciated. Their children are not hungry. They have a roof over their heads. They can think about their children's education. And our severely injured boys, they also reinvest this money into their education. They learn a new trade. They acquire a new profession so they can adjust to the new reality that is this disability, a severe disability after war.
So just because somebody was injured or affected by the war doesn't mean that they're just going to rest on their laurels and take this compensation. It might help them, guide them into a path of another vocation or learning a trade or getting a job or something like that. Does that still affect their benefit or not?
No, it doesn't, and that has mostly been the case. We just started working with our beneficiaries because we're finally out of the shock of the war, and we're finally paid out 4,500 cases.
Right.
So we're trying to build this relationship and rapport with beneficiaries as well. So we're looking into their stories, and those are inspiring stories that from a calamity like war came stories of heroes and their families that persevere and live on and create more good. We have a beneficiary, unfortunately, 19-year-old Syrian Armenian guy who died, and he was a first-year medical student. He wanted to become a doctor. So his father created a charitable foundation, and he's helping other wounded soldiers and children with severe medical conditions. So he is spreading, and he's continuing his son's legacy.
He's paying it forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is possible using the compensation that they have received from IFS.
That's great.
The purpose of the trip is to get to know the diaspora better, because the diaspora has their own culture and their own traditions, and we have a lot of donors in the diaspora. We don't know who these people are.
Right.
So we're here to say thank you, first of all, for the support, and we're here to report on what we have been doing and to create these relationships where if you think of playing a charitable concert, IFS would be the first thing on your mind.
Oh, yeah.
We consider it's important to strengthen the ties with the diaspora and at the same time tell who we are, what we do, because like we're having a live and people type us that we've never heard about you. So, but eventually we want to build this trust. In addition to saying who we are, what we do, we want to have this trust, and we think that safeguard, but if there is another war, people know who we are, what we do, who are our beneficiaries, and support of any amount, be it a $10, be it a $15, but consistent monthly subscription is important to the foundation, because our liabilities are long-term, as we said, for 20 years. And there cannot be a time that we say because of fund shortage, we do not support these families anymore. Most of them are actually bereft of everything after their kids, their sons or their husbands, their brothers sacrifice their utmost, their life and their health. So as a nation, we need to take care of them. And in addition, I want to share a little bit of insight. We're actually, as we said, we have more than 4,500 cases to date, but we are anticipating another 380 till the end of this year.
Oh.
So, and most of them, most probably are going to be severely injured. I mean, with total or partial disability soldiers.
And where are these soldiers at that you're talking about right now? Are they guarding the borders? Are these active?
You mean this 380?
Right.
Some of them are going to be fallen heroes because we're finding some bodies doing the DNA matching with the family members. Some of them, it takes a lot of time until a person, a serviceman, receives a disability category because first he has to undergo certain treatment. Then there should be a commission which grants him first or second degree disability category. And after that he can apply and become a beneficiary of IFS. So because it takes time, that is why we anticipate that out of these 380 new cases till the end of the year, most, possibly 65 to 70% are going to be severely injured servicemen. And we have to give them the lump sum payments, and then they're going to be fall into the route of monthly payments. And till the end of the year, together with these 4,500 plus beneficiaries, we have 12.5 million liabilities to cover. This is a huge amount for the foundation, and we do have that fund as of now, but starting from next year, we're going to have fund shortage.
Okay, so basically, it's an ongoing need that doesn't stop, and it sounds like there's a vetting process that someone has to go through. It's good to see that there's a lot of safeguards put in place, that the money is managed, and I know that you have a certain board of directors that vets all of these cases. And one thing I noticed, it was sort of interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, that basically the percentage of donations that come in, the top three donors, it says that around 69% is from Armenia.
Yes, you have your numbers right.
And 8.6 from the Russian Federation.
Yeah.
We're at 8.2 in the United States. So we're at 8.2 in the United States, and the Russian Federation is 8.6. All I'm saying is, hey, let's kick up our game because we can, we can do it here in America.
Actually, our numbers are very interesting statistics.
Mm-hmm.
We believe they're quite logical because people in Armenia know more about who we are and what we do. So they didn't have an issue of trust, or unfortunately, everyone now has a loss or someone they know that was injured or killed. So they see in their daily lives what IFS does and how it helps empower these families. So we have a lot of donations flowing in from Armenia, and objectively the diaspora is not informed of who we are and what we do. So the purpose of this trip is to bridge that gap, to make sure that people here know who we are, how we operate, and why they can trust us. And why they can trust us because of the values and the systems we're built on. We value transparency and accountability and justice. So we're an extremely transparent organization that was created with that in mind. So we are audited annually by top 10 international audit firms. For the last 2 years, Ernst & Young did our audit, or our audit statements are published in 4 languages on our website. Mm-hmm. We also do quarterly reports, which are called director's reports, which are a more qualitative analysis of the work that we do. So it's not just numbers, but it's also outlook and statistics and geography of donations, geography of compensation. We give an insight into what our work is and how we do it and why we succeed in doing it well. Also, we have a fantastic website where every single cent that has ever come in as mandatory contribution or donation can be seen and will always stay on there. So if I, as a resident of Armenia, have paid a mandatory contribution, I can use my social security number and look it up. If you've made a donation 1 year ago, 4 years ago, you can search it through your email and it will pop up on the screen. Also, all the names of all the 4,582 beneficiaries are published on the website. And it's not just the names. It's the names, dates of birth, amount of compensation received, and their military rank. So it is easy to track.
A lot of transparency, it seems.
It is key for us. We understand it is key. There has never been a question for anyone who's ever worked with us, where did the money go? The money goes to the families, and it is obvious, and it's easy to track. And also, we want to encourage people to use our motto. Why? Because it is just and it is fair socially. We reach everyone. There's not a single case that will ever be left out. So every family that is a beneficiary under the law will receive compensations. They won't be left out because they are further out. They won't be left out if they're financially more comfortable, because we don't help these people because they are poor. We help them because they made the ultimate sacrifice.
Sure.
This is our way of saying thank you. So honestly, if you want to help and these people need help, then the best way to do that is to contribute through IFS, where your contribution is going to be spread to 4,582 cases and is going to reach everyone, and everyone is going to feel appreciated.
And by the way, it's very easy to become a monthly subscriber. You just land on our website, 1000plus.am, and there is a donate button. Just click on it, enter the card details. It will take you a maximum of 1 minute. Yeah. And then at every month you will receive an email that verifies your donation, and at any moment you can unsubscribe in just one click. It's very easy.
So, I mean, if you're out there paying $6 for a Starbucks cup of coffee, they're not asking for much. And if you maybe even if a lot of us just do a $6 or $10 a month, it might not be much to you, but if a lot of us get behind it and just have them that little bit coming in each month, I'm sure it would be a great help. That online website is www.1000, that's 1000 plus plus.am/en.
That's the English.
The English.
Is that the English?
Yes, we have Armenian, English, Russian, and French.
Okay.
Depending on what language you're comfortable with.
Okay, so 1000 plus.am. Go there. Also, it's basically the Armenian Wounded Heroes Fund. Is that something that's tied into this?
The Armenian Wounded Heroes Fund is a fund that was created in the United States back in 2016, and they've been our partner for over a year now. They reached out to us during the war, and they have been helping us raise funds that are tax-deductible donations from U.S. residents. So if you want to do a tax-deductible donation, you can always go through the Armenian Wounded Heroes Fund, and they have a special landing page on their website. You can go on 1000 Plus, which is our unofficial name,
right?
And I'll explain why. And if you donate through there and you can subscribe to a monthly donation, then you can also get a tax-deductible donation for tax purposes in the United States.
Right, because this organization is a 501c3.
It is.
And there's no issues regarding your tax deduction eligibility on this. So you ladies are scheduled to, your itinerary includes Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, Boston, Detroit, Chicago, San Francisco, Fresno, and Los Angeles. So you're on the world tour here.
Yes.
A tiring one.
Yes. Yeah. Although you both look very, for considering the amount of miles, you're doing just fine, and we thank you for the good works that you're putting in. So all of our friends out in Fresno, L.A.,
Detroit,
Chicago, San Francisco.
That's where my wife is from, Chicago. So represent Chicago. Please give these ladies and this organization your time and attention. And Greg, have you guys gone out to Los Angeles yet?
No, we are going to finish the tour in Los Angeles and head back to Armenia.
All right. Well, Greg, if you're still on, brother, if you want to do a concert in California, count me in, and might be something for us to talk about in the near future in L.A.
We are ready to meet anyone in the cities you mentioned, anyone that is interested to learn and more about us, to have a meeting in person. Just email us, reach us out on social media. We're almost on every social media platform, and you will see the email address on the website, on our website. So text us and we'll be happy to meet.
So you have to go to that 1000plus.am website, and they will find Narine and Sona's information there, right? Is there anything else you'd like to cover before we wrap this up?
Yes, I actually would like to talk about our board and our team.
Sure.
Before the war, everything was run by volunteers, and it was a very small group of very dedicated people. Our board is still volunteer, and our board is a 5-person board comprised of mainly diasporan Armenians from the U.S., from UK, from Russia, and these are people who have stellar reputations. They're professionals in banking, venture capital, fundraising, crisis management, and these are people they have been donating their time, expertise, and networks to benefit IFS, and they guide us strategically, and they make sure that they represent IFS in the regions that they come from. We also have a small team now, about 15 persons. We have a compensation team, that is the team that deals with the cases. We have a PR and marketing team. We have a lawyer, financial director. So we are a professional organization with people from very diverse backgrounds, very well educated, speaking more than three languages, and experts in what we do. So it is not a small startup anymore. It is not a team that is managed solely by volunteers anymore. It is a professional team that is looking at 20 years of liabilities and management. So it is important for people to understand that there's a whole institution behind the project, and we're looking forward to meeting and telling more about us.
So I noticed here that there's a mandatory employee contributions that take place from $3 to $30 depending on somebody's income.
Yes.
Is that something that most of the working
Yes, actually
population?
Everyone in Armenia and Artsakh, every taxpayer in Armenia and Artsakh contributes from their monthly salary starting from $3 to $30 Prior to January this year, it was a fixed amount equal to 1,000 Armenian drams, which is $2. But because our liabilities grew tenfold, it was no longer possible to make all these compensations on $2. So under a special law, the amount was changed, and now it is starting from $3 to $30 and we generated $104 million starting from 2017 through this channel only, and it makes up about 90% of all our funds.
Well, with that being said, there's a lot of people who work for corporations that corporations will do some matching funds. So this might be, IFS might be something that you might want to consider contributing to through your employer with matching funds. It's a 501c3, and I'd sort of like to wrap this segment up by sharing with you a story that I read which sort of captured my heart. Zaven Marucyan's story. He's a beneficiary. He's a veteran of 3 wars. He was 17 at the time of his first Artsakh war, and he fled from home to participate in the defense of his homeland. He said, "I don't care about my leg. I am grieving for the loss of our land." That's what Zaven says. So he says he will take up arms and go back to the front line if he needs to, despite his prosthetic leg, he dances very well and is rebuilding the roof on his house himself. That's one heck of a success story. And it's that kind of help that your dollars are going to people like Zavin, and actually Zavin's probably one of the more luckier ones.
Yes.
And people and mothers and families have lost their sons, their fathers, their uncles, and this is a fantastic organization, and I thank you both for being a part of this drive to bring awareness to something that is, I think, long overdue here in the diaspora. And God bless your works, and enjoy the rest of your travels, Narine and Sona, and if there's anything we can do, you always have a home here in Detroit.
Thank you for warm welcome, and thank you for this opportunity to talk about us,
Thank you.
about IFS.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.